Mastering the 5 rules of Stoicism. Rule number 1, focusing on what you can control. In the chaotic and unpredictable world we live in, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by circumstances and events that are beyond our control. Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus from external factors to internal ones, to recognize and accept the limits of our influence. The first rule of Stoicism is to focus on what you can control. This means directing our energy and attention towards our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, rather than wasting them on things outside of our sphere of influence. By doing so, we regain a sense of agency and empowerment over our lives. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, believed that while we cannot control the external world, we have complete control over our responses to it. He argued that our emotions and judgments are within our power, and by exercising self-discipline and rationality, we can shape our inner world. Practicing this rule requires a shift in perspective. Instead of dwelling on what has already happened or worrying about what might happen in the future, we focus on the present moment and take deliberate action. We learn to detach ourselves from the outcomes and accept that we can only do our best in any given situation. By embracing this principle, we free ourselves from the burdens of anxiety, frustration, and disappointment that often accompany our attachment to external circumstances. We learn to let go of the need for control and find peace in surrendering to the natural flow of life. Focusing on what we can control also allows us to prioritize our efforts and energy. We become more discerning in choosing our battles and invest our resources wisely. Instead of wasting energy on futile endeavors, we channel our efforts towards areas where we can make a meaningful difference. Rule 2, embracing the present moment. In the philosophy of Stoicism, one of the fundamental principles is to embrace the present moment. This rule urges us to focus our attention and awareness on the here and now, rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. By immersing ourselves fully in the present, we can find a sense of peace, contentment, and fulfillment. In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to get caught up in the chaos and distractions that surround us. Our minds are constantly bombarded with thoughts, worries, and responsibilities, pulling us away from the present moment. We often find ourselves dwelling on past mistakes or longing for a better future, missing out on the beauty and opportunities that are right in front of us. Stoicism teaches us that the only reality we have control over is the present moment. The past is unchangeable and the future is uncertain. Therefore, it is essential to make the most of the present and find joy in the here and now. By doing so, we can cultivate a mindset of gratitude, appreciation, and mindfulness. Embracing the present moment also allows us to fully engage in our actions and relationships. When our attention is fully focused on the task at hand or the person in front of us, we can bring our best selves to the present moment. We can listen attentively, observe keenly, and respond thoughtfully. This not only enhances our own experiences, but also deepens our connections with others. Furthermore, embracing the present moment helps us to let go of worries and anxieties about the future. Stoicism teaches us that worrying about things beyond our control is futile and only robs us of our peace of mind. Instead, by accepting the present moment as it is and surrendering to the natural flow of life, we can find a sense of calm and tranquility. To embrace the present moment, it is helpful to practice mindfulness techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or simply taking a moment to pause and observe our surroundings. By bringing our attention back to the present whenever our minds wander, we can train ourselves to be more present and aware. Rule number 3, practice acceptance and detachment. This rule is often referred to as the dichotomy of control, which means that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot control. This principle is crucial in Stoic philosophy because it helps us avoid unnecessary suffering and stress. When we try to control things that are beyond our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. Instead, we should focus on our thoughts, attitudes, and actions, which are within our control. By doing so, we can cultivate a sense of agency and empowerment over our lives. Acceptance and detachment also involve letting go of our attachment to external things, such as material possessions, status, or other people's approval. This doesn't mean we should become apathetic or indifferent, but rather that we should cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment that is not dependent on external circumstances. By practicing acceptance and detachment, we can become more resilient, adaptable, and compassionate towards ourselves and others. Rule 4. Practice self-discipline and moderation. Stoics believe that by exercising self-control over our desires and impulses, we can achieve inner peace and tranquility. This rule encourages individuals to be mindful of their actions, thoughts, and emotions, and to cultivate virtuous behavior. Practicing self-discipline involves resisting the temptations of instant gratification and making choices that align with our values and long-term goals. By exercising moderation, we avoid excesses and extremes, finding a balanced approach to life. This means not indulging in excessive pleasures or pursuing material possessions for their own sake, but instead focusing on what truly matters and brings genuine fulfillment. Self-discipline and moderation also extend to our emotions and reactions. Stoics believe in maintaining a calm and rational mindset, even in the face of adversity. By practicing emotional resilience and refraining from impulsive reactions, we can navigate challenges with clarity and composure. Ultimately, the practice of self-discipline and moderation leads to a more virtuous and fulfilling life. It allows us to cultivate a strong sense of integrity, resilience, and inner strength. By embracing this rule, we can become better versions of ourselves, living in accordance with our highest values and leading a life of purpose and meaning. Rule number 5. Accept the impermanence of life. Stoicism recognizes that life is inherently transient and that change is a fundamental aspect of existence. The Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting and embracing the impermanence of life, including the inevitability of death. By acknowledging this reality, they believed individuals could cultivate a greater sense of peace and equanimity. The Stoics encouraged a mindset of detachment from external circumstances and outcomes. They believed that everything external to oneself is ultimately beyond our control, and clinging to or resisting these external factors leads to unnecessary suffering. Instead, they advocated for focusing on internal qualities and virtues that can be cultivated, such as wisdom, courage, and generosity. Accepting the impermanence of life also means recognizing that material possessions, social status, and even our own bodies are subject to change and eventual decay. By not placing excessive value on external possessions or circumstances, the Stoics taught that individuals could find true contentment within themselves and remain unperturbed by the fluctuations of life. Furthermore, the Stoics believed that by accepting the impermanence of life, individuals could better appreciate and savor the present moment. Instead of dwelling on the past or anxiously anticipating the future, they advocated for fully engaging with the present and making the most of each day. This mindset encourages individuals to embrace the fleeting nature of life and to find meaning and fulfillment in the present moment. In embracing the impermanence of life, the Stoics also recognized the importance of living in accordance with nature and the natural order of the universe. They believed that everything in the world is interconnected and that each individual has a unique role to play. By aligning one's actions and values with the larger cosmic order, individuals can find a deeper sense of purpose and harmony. In conclusion, the acceptance of the impermanence of life is a fundamental principle of Stoicism. By embracing this reality, individuals can cultivate a mindset of detachment from external circumstances, appreciate the present moment, and live in accordance with nature. Through this practice, Stoicism offers a profound and practical philosophy for living a more peaceful, virtuous, and fulfilling life. All right, we've reached the end of our journey through the 5 rules of Stoicism. I hope you found these principles enlightening and practical. Remember, Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's about finding strength in adversity, practicing self-control, and focusing on what we can control. So take these rules to heart and start applying them in your daily life. Let's become better versions of ourselves by embracing the wisdom of the Stoics. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay stoic.